take it. Got it! Busted wings!
Two legends in basketball analysis with over 70 years combined experience. This is the Bob Ryan and Jeff Goodman podcast.
NBA, some college.
The band is back together. You are listening to the Bob Ryan, Jeff Goodman, Tangway Along for the Ride podcast, member of the CLNS Media Network. Show is brought to you by Prizepicks, North America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download today. Use code CLNS to get $50 when you pay $5. Prizepicks. Run your game. Jeff, how's it going? Oh, shoot.
89 here today in Charleston. So it's cooled off. It's cooled off.
That's cool. He's all situated. He is our correspondent from the South.
That's right.
All right. So let's get to the big news of the Clippers. Chris Paul, Jeff, makes another go around there. Your thoughts?
I mean, it is what I just actually saw him. I left Peach Jam, the premier AAU tournament the other day, and he's down there. I give him credit, man. Every summer, he and his brother.
He's freezing up on
NBA programs. But Chris Paul is always there. He's there. He's helping. He's involved. Where a lot of other NBA players put their name in a program, but they don't do what he does. I don't know how much of an impact he's going to have at this point of his career, Gary. You know, how old is Chris Paul? 40? Almost 40?
He will be 41 on May, so he'll play the year at 40.
Right.
May
I
6th, if he's lucky enough to be in the playoffs, he'll turn 41.
He's a backup. That's really what Chris Paul. If you got to start him now and play him big minutes, you're not a serious contender, right? But if he is a backup, and you also added Bradley Beal, who's, you guys know what I thought of him pre-injury.
Yeah.
Post-injury is not quite the same. I saw him as well down at Peach Jam. Brook Lopez, the Clippers brought in some names. They brought in some names, but those names are either old or injury riddled. And that's generally not a good combo to a team that has a guy as its star who has been injury riddled, and James Harden, who is older. I don't trust this Clippers team being able to put it all together in the playoffs and being healthy in the playoffs. But if you're Lawrence Frank and the Clippers, what choice did you really have? That's all you could do at this point. You got Beal on a short money deal. Same thing with Chris Paul and Brook Lopez.
They have one quality player under the age of 30.
Wow.
One in the modern NBA. It's phenomenal. And that would be Ivan Zubac. He's 29.
Yeah.
Okay. Their average age is, according to the number of people that they're computing, is 30.7. Here's the quick rundown. Paul is 40. Nicholas Batum is 36. James Harden is 35. Kawhi Leonard is 34. Bogdan Bogdanovic is 32. Your boy Beal is 32. Chris Dunn has suddenly become 31. We weren't looking. Zubac's 29. And even John Collins is 28. That's their roster.
Wow.
I mean, it's improbable that they could be a factor in the end, except in a hospital ward. But all right, so that's the deal. Now, I want to talk about Paul in general. He gets a rap that pisses me off. He's never won a championship. And the fact is, there's one small guard who was the best player on a championship team in our memory, and that was Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
With the Pistons. And he had some pretty damn good acolytes, starting with his backcourt mate, Joe Dumars. Okay. Chris Paul is an all-time great player. He's number 2 on the assist list. Number 1 is John Stockton. Number 2 is Chris Paul. By the way, the 3, 4, 5, Jason Kidd, LeBron James, and Steve Nash. However, for him to catch Stockton, he'd have to play a minimum of 4 more years. Stockton has 15,806 assists. Paul, 12,499. That is a difference of 3,307 assists between number 1 and number 2. So he's not going to finish at number 1. But and Kidd is number 3, and the closest thing to him is LeBron. Who knows? He's got a long way to go. So anyway, this is his second go round with the Clippers, team number 7 overall.
What does that say, Bob? Bob, what does that tell you about Chris Paul? That this is his 8th stop.
Yes,
That's correct.
That he's useful but not indispensable. How's that?
To play basketball.
Yeah.
Andy loves to play basketball because he could hang it up.
He's led the league.
He could. I think
he's led the league in assists 5 times.
Yeah.
He's led in steals 6 times.
Yeah. So
over the course of his career, his averages right now, his career average is 17 points, 9.2 career assists.
Yeah.
And last year, at age 39, going on 40, he shot 38% on threes. His career is 37. He's still got something, but you're right. Jefferson, you're right. You're not relying on him. He's part of your mix, okay? But they're going to have to. Well, I mean, this is a task for old Coach Lou to figure out how to juggle these guys. But nobody's going to be averaging a whole big minutes on that team.
No, but the thing I wanted to say about Paul is that he's already received enough accolades. He has the non-title rap, but everybody who hasn't won a title has that. But my point is that, we get on athletes a lot, and it's just, he could retire now and be fine. He's a Hall of Famer.
Oh,
right. He
yes.
just loves, and I think sometimes we don't give players credit. And Jeff, I want to ask you about this. He just wants to play ball. He just wants to be in the gym and he just wants to play ball. So I find that appealing. Good for him. How well do you know him? And I don't really understand his personality.
It's a loaded question. That's a loaded question. Yeah, we don't get along great. We had an issue years ago where it was the year that players, the Donald Sterling.
Right.
So that happened.
Right.
I quoted him at an AU
for our
event.
viewers and listeners, can you just give us a quick review of that?
Well, Bob can probably give us even a better review of it because obviously his memory is better than all of ours.
Yeah.
But yeah, Donald Sterling, players and coaches, even Doc Rivers, I think, was saying, well, the players were saying we're not playing for him anymore.
Right. That was after the racial slur.
Correct. So I got Chris Paul at an AU event, had a tape recorder in front of him, asked them about that, then asked them, I was working at ESPN at the time, then asked them about his AAU program and him being out there and wrote a story. Obviously, the lead were his comments about Donald Sterling, about whether he called me all upset that was the gist of the story. That was the main point of the story. And I'm like, Chris, I'm not taking it down. You said it. You knew you said it. You had a tape recorder in your face. Did you really think that you running your AAU program was going to be the headline on an ESPN story with everything that was going on with Donald Sterling? So we haven't talked since. The comparison that I've gotten with Chris Paul, and let me leave this with this. He is a worker. He is a guy that when you talk to other players, they will say he is always in the gym. In the preseason, he takes everything like it's a game. Everything is competitive. Everything is purposeful. He always is in the gym to get better. All of that. So good. All of it. Now, again, some of it other players don't like.
Right.
Some, guys, it turns guys off. He is, I was told by various people in the NBA, he is the equivalent as a person similar to Russell Wilson in the NFL.
Huh.
So I assume you guys know what that means.
Yeah.
To some degree.
Yeah, I mean, you either love him or hate him.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So again, Chris Paul and I aren't on great terms. I don't care about that. Who cares? I think, again, he's a good piece. He's one of the best point guards to ever play this game. He's never won a championship. Those are all facts. He's on his 8th stop. which is a little bit alarming. But, the problem, he's played with James Harden. He's played with some of these guys. I actually feel like he's more impactful for a young team
Right.
than he is for an older team. I feel like there could be some chemistry issues here because Kawhi's Kawhi, and he beats to his own drum. Chris Paul isn't going to change. You get James Harden over there, who's a weird dude. You got Brad Beal, who's one of the best dudes who just got bought out of Phoenix. I don't know. There's just too many weird person. This just looks to me like a Stratomatic team, like a team thrown together with names and numbers that is not going to fit together.
And the age thing it's daunting. It's daunting. It's amazing. Now, hey, they're professionals. They're making decisions. They think they know. They're professional people. They know damn well what they're in for here, and they're willing to try to accommodate it. So good luck to them. By the way, one more interesting little tidbit about Chris Paul that I find very impressive. Last year at age 39, he played all 82 games. In this modern NBA, that is a feat.
28 minutes a game.
Shouldn't be a big deal as it is, but it is. In the modern NBA, if you're playing all 82, that in itself is a big deal. At age 39, that's a very big deal.
Yeah, you got to get him down to like 20 minutes a game, to me. 20 minutes a game for Chris Paul is probably a good number at this age and at this stage of his career.
Now, about your boy Bradley, where he is in his career right now, at age 32, and post-injury, as you point out. Last year, he still scored 17 points a game for the disappointing Suns. Shot 386, almost 39 on threes. But this is a guy, I'm interesting to see how he's going to be remembered, Jeff. He's going about his business. And right now, his career average, you retire, if he were to retire, he's a career 21 points a game shooter, a scorer. That's impressive. His 3-point percentage, his career is .376. And here's a guy that I had forgotten, and I'm sure you are well aware, had twice averaged, back-to-back years, he averaged 30. I forgot that. But
the problem with Brad Beal, Bob, I'll give you the number. The number is he has not played more than 60 games in the last 6 seasons. Wow. Prior to that, he had played 82 2 years straight with obviously a shitty Washington team. But remember, that was kind of the point when I was trying to say, coming off a couple of those years, hey, maybe you want to look, remember the Celtics were struggling at that point. Maybe you want to look at trading Jaylen Brown in a deal for Bradley Beal. And then the injuries occurred and Bradley Beal just hasn't been the same since.
Hey, it's a great day. Summertime, baseball, prize picks. You can't beat it. What a combination. That's right, Prizepicks, the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash while you're hanging out in the sun and watching baseball. With millions of members, Prizepicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less and at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prizepicks. And Prizepicks invented Flex Play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks does not hit. Every Tuesday, Prizepicks will discount several projections on the board, usually by 15% to 25%. Okay, so you got baseball, second half underway, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do with this. There's a lot of ways you can play on Prizepicks. Just pick more or you pick less. So Tani, more than 2 RBIs a game. What about Bo Bichette? More or less than 3 hits a game. All kinds of selections. Judge, more or less than 2 home runs a game. That's how you do it, and that's how you can play with Prizepicks. Again, it's really simple. You don't have to overthink it. You just pick more or less. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. The code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prizepicks. Run your game in the sun. Baseball, second half of the season. What's better? So we talked with Bob about Marcus going to the Lakers. So not one to shy away from hyperbole, Bob. Your thoughts on Smart saying that Doncic recruited him?
Well, I mean, I'm impressed. I mean, what can I say? He's trying to impress us, I think. That's fine. That's fine. Really. I mean, it tells me something about Doncic, frankly. How much he's ever seen of Marcus Smart, I don't know, really. But I don't know if it's all true. And I'm saying I read it. I'm going to take it at face value that Smart said this. I just find it fun. That's all. It's just interesting. But it means he's going to be welcomed by somebody very important with the Lakers. And you know how I feel about him. I have lost track. Last year, of course, he was injured, and his Memphis is forgettable, and it gets to the Bullets,
Right.
to the Washington Wizards. They are always forgettable. So, it's like I'm wiping the slate clean. I'm in my mind, I'm sending him directly from Boston to LA because that interlude didn't accomplish anything. You know how I feel about him. He brings stuff to the table that is unique. He has his foibles. But I think can be an addition to any team in the NBA. And
Do you worry, Bob? Here's my question.
Yeah.
Do you worry? And he'll turn 30. I think he's 31.
Yeah.
That Marcus Smart at 31 is like other guys at 35 or 36 because of how hard he played,
Right.
how physical he played, that he's not ever going to be the same player, that he's kind of a shell of himself. He only played, I think, 54 games over the last 2 years since he left Boston.
Well, that's exactly right. So let's see what they expect from him, and how much time they're thinking about having him. But he could be very good use strategically, I think.
Yeah.
In games when you're looking for a defensive stopper, you're looking for a situational player. He can be that for a team that it's going to be. I mean, we're going to be talking about the Lakers a lot again. We just.
I hope they're good. I hope they're good. I hope they're competitive. It's good TV. I just hope.
Health.
Of
Health.
yeah.
Of course.
With Clippers and Lakers,
Of course.
for similar reasons, obviously LeBron being old, but Luka being out of shape. Is he going to stay healthy? You bring in Marcus Smart, who again is known as a defense. Can he help? Because when Luka's in the court, you do need some guys that can guard. And Austin Reeves isn't some great defender, so you're going to need some guys that can at least want to lock up and aren't going to need their ball in their hands. So yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I don't hate it because you know what? Too, Marcus Smart brings a culture there too. He helps bring a culture that might help DeAndre Ayton. Right now, you got Marcus Smart and LeBron, and they're both MFers, and they're different, but like I think this could all help DeAndre Ayton as well.
That's an interesting point. No, I think they've made a smart move. I think there's not much of it. The downside, he gets hurt. All right, that's going to happen.
Right.
I just think he's going to help them. I do.
All right. Jeff, you have some thoughts on the Phoenix Suns that have a new look.
I mean, just crazy. Like we're talking about, a couple of years ago, new owner,
Right.
Matt Ishbia taking over, and he's willing to go and go get Kevin Durant and pair him with Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. And we're thinking like this is going to be entertaining at the very least. And it was a complete train wreck.
Right.
And now KD's gone and a deal that, just okay. You bought out Beal and now you're left with Devin Booker and not a whole lot else.
Right.
I don't, and then the other part of it is, and I like this dude. I think we've talked about it briefly before on the pod, but like you're making Brian Gregory the general manager. And Brian Gregory is a guy who was a college basketball coach his whole career, had no NBA experience till a year or so ago. He was the head coach at Dayton. Then he went to Georgia Tech, didn't do well there, got fired. Then he went to South Florida, did atrocious, got fired a few years ago. And the connection is Michigan State. Brian Gregory worked for Tom Izzo at Michigan State. Matt Ishbia was a walk-on for Tom Izzo at Michigan State. It just seems incestuous right now with Michigan State and Ishbia. And it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you got to hire the right people here in the right positions. And now, I mean, what do they have? They got Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks in that deal for KD. But those are pieces. I mean, now you're kind of also Rans. Now, it probably won't be any worse than it was
Right,
last
which is
year.
crazy.
Right. But it's an experiment gone wrong is basically what this has been.
Now, I appear to be in the minority in that I think they did very well on the deal. I think
You
that
are in
they
the
managed to
minority.
extract something
Yeah.
useful for themselves. That for what Durant is worth now, I think that Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green are a pretty good compensation for that. I mean, Green is on the verge of stardom. You know far better than I.
Talented.
Brooks is a edgy player to say the least, but he's not a stiff. Now, and of course, Booker is a major star. Booker is a major. He's liable.
Right.
He's liable to score 30 a game. By the way, you mentioned Michigan State, and it just so happens that Coach Jordan Ott, about whom most people know nothing, starting with myself,
Thank you. Yeah.
was a Michigan State assistant under Tom
He was a
Izzo.
video guy. When I first met him, a young 25, 24-year-old video, super smart. I think Jordan Ott could have a bright future if you gave him enough dudes.
Well, he entered the NBA as Atlanta's video guy.
Yeah.
That's how he entered the NBA.
Yeah.
And since then, assistant coaching jobs with the Nets, Lakers, and Cavs. And now here he is, age 40. There's a new category of avenue to NBA coaching we've got at least two of them that we know of. Student manager, not player, which I love. It's a guy, but I mean, student manager at Penn State. And that's how he got his start. And then he goes to Michigan State under Izzo. And there we go. There he is, Jordan Ott.
There's a little known fact about Jordan Ott, and I only know this because I was in the middle of it a little bit. Jordan Ott, almost a year ago, he was looking for a job, and he almost took a job as University of Alabama assistant coach, and then ended up getting the job with the Cavs, and now is a head coach in the NBA. So he was very close to pivoting to college, and then if he had, he might have been Tom Izzo's successor at some point, but now he's like, just shows you how things work, man. Like it is. I mean, we saw Mazzulla. I mean, there are a lot of cases in the NBA where it's just like timing is everything.
Oh,
I got a story for you guys, a quick looking for a job story. Okay. Many years ago, the NBA meetings were in LA, and we were at the hotel and in the lobby, and I'm talking to the deposed coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. We were literally standing behind the potted palms, and he was lamenting to me, I'm X years old. I don't know what I'm going to do. I need a job. His name was Chuck Daly.
Wow.
And how about that, ladies and gentlemen? Well, he extricated himself from that Cleveland mess and wound up getting hired by the Detroit Pistons. I think you know what happened from then on. So there's your I need a job story in the NBA. By the way, when he was with Cleveland, I went out to do a story. I went out to see him, and he was staying at the famous, to us, because it was the benchmark of it was the great gateway, the Holiday Inn at exit 11 off the Ohio Turnpike. And he showed me his closet, which was loaded with big time suits. And I guarantee you that in the history of that Holiday Inn, never was there such an elaborate wardrobe on display in any room at the, like I said, 11 Holiday Inn than when Chuck Daly was staying there as coach of the Cavaliers. The reason he was there, the home arena was right across the street at the Richfield Coliseum. So that's why he was out there. So there you go. So that's a looking for the job and wardrobe story combined.
His closet had a higher value than the appraisal of the Holiday Inn.
Yeah. Very good.
Guys, before we go, Bob has given us his thoughts on the Celtics at this time. Jeff, I saw the other day, there was an article that they're focusing on defense, and I said, okay, well, that makes sense. This could also be one of those stories that, like, it's in the summer, I needed something to talk about. Yeah. But your thoughts on the Celtics right now, where they're at, how competitive they're going to be. I think, personally, it's going to be a fun season. I don't think they're going to win it, but I think they could be fun to follow.
I don't know. I think they could be very ho-hum and very just like, well, how exciting are they? They're kind of, 5th, 6th, 7th seed in the East.
Well, stop. I'm sorry to interrupt you. That's on Mazzulla. That's on Mazzulla, because here's my thing. Mazzulla
Yeah.
always had Tatum. So
Yeah.
Mazzulla, everybody's praising this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, Joe, let's see what you got. Let's
Yeah.
see what you
Yeah.
can do now.
Yeah, that's a good point because let's face it, they still have two of probably if you're drafting teams right now, you have two of the top 30 players in the league.
Well,
Two
yeah,
of
I
the
mean, they
top
should
30
still
guys.
play hard and be in games. I mean, I understand without Tatum, they're not even close to the team they were. But if they mail it in, I'll be drastically disappointed, and I'll put it on him.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll say is like, again, I said this to Bob a couple weeks ago. This might be the worst collection of centers
Yeah,
I've ever seen in the NBA. Like,
right.
I think Bob agreed, which I was because obviously his recollection and
Hmm.
going back is a lot longer than mine. But like these four centers, you can make a case for all four shouldn't be in the league, for different reasons.
Right.
And again, I like Luka Garza. Like he was a great college player at Iowa.
Yeah.
He could score, but like he can't guard. And maybe our boy George Niang will save the season. Maybe he'll save the entire season. Um, I don't know if we still got to find out. Does George consider himself a Lawrence or Methuen native? We need to get to the bottom.
Okay.
Then we need to get to the bottom. There's a big difference.
We'll get that settled.
There's a big difference because I don't think he's tough enough to be a Lawrence native.
All right.
All right.
We'll figure it out. We'll get it. We'll get that square.
Hey, I got one more note for you. Some advice to all NBA general managers right now. Trade all your 2027 draft picks now.
Oh.
Either trade for next year. Next year's draft is going to be really good. Either trade all your 2027s now and move up or move back. Because I just saw the collection of talent that will be in the high school senior class for the last 2 weeks. It's the worst class I've ever seen at the top. The worst class I've ever seen. There's one kid who's talent-wise named Tyron Stokes. He's from Louisville, but he's played in California the last couple of years, prep schools. Talented, like a 6'7" forward who can pass, athletic. There's some red flags with him. Coaches are a little bit worried about some of the off-the-court issues. After that, the second best player in the class is a kid named Jordan Smith, okay? He's a DMV kid, plays for Team Takeover. He's a 6'1" guard who can't really shoot and is not a point guard, but he's the best damn defender I've seen. He's the number 2 player in the country, probably is a 4-year college player in this day and age. That's what this says about this class. So again, GMs, trade those 2027 picks immediately if you can. Immediately.
Right here first.
All right. We're here. Absolutely. File that one away.
All right, Jeds. Bob, anything else? Are you good?
No, I'm good today.
All right, good. Folks, enjoy the nice weather. We'll talk to you guys next week. I'm off to another lacrosse tournament.
Of course you are.
Boom. All right, the Bob Ryan, Jeff Goodman, Tangway Along for the Ride podcast brought to you by CLNS Media. The show is brought to you by Prizepicks, North America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download today and use code CLNS to get $50 when you play 5. Prizepicks, run your game.